Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the People. And today is our 40th episode, guys. And today's special guest, we got Gahsing, man,
I will.
the one and only.
Wondering
How are
who
you,
is
brother?
Gahsing? Gahsing is the DJ.
Yeah,
Talk about his DJ stories and stuff. But first of all, how are you, bro? How's things with
yeah.
you?
How's things, man?
I'm good, man. Just slowly coming back into the real world now, which is nice. I just got fully vaccinated, so it's like slowly coming back. I just played for the first time on Saturday, so it's just slowly edging back in.
Edging back.
Which is nice. It's nice to finally like come out, and just see people like
Yeah.
in like a larger amount of people in a place. It just feels a bit more like
It
everything
feels
is like
lively again, lah.
yeah, it feels lively. Yeah,
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 I mean, it changes, like, like before that, everything was normal. Then when the pandemic hit, man, it feels like straight away like what World War Z shit.
yeah, yeah,
It's like it's something different, lah. I
yeah.
mean, but it's good, like, to hear that you're doing fine. You're getting back on track. That's good, man.
Thank you. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And
No,
before we head on, like, one curious question, bro. How do you get this name, Gasing?
Gahsing.
How?
It's quite simple actually. A lot of people think it's because I spin and then Gahsing macam but I have to explain it like every time they're like Gahsing, oh like the fucking like Beyblade top on right.
Beyblade. That was some classic stuff, man. Yeah.
Yeah, but it was because so I grew up on Jalan Gasing in DJ.
Oh.
So
Okay.
like
Okay.
from about 6, 7 to about 14, I was there, and then like all the stupid young shit as a kid, like when I was younger, all that shit you do as a kid, I did it in Gasing. So I more or less grew up in Gasing. Yeah.
So
So from that Gasing,
Gasing
I came up with the name. I wasn't even a DJ at that point. My ass was trying to be a model. That did not
model.
work. It wasn't even a model. I did like one shoot once for like one friend. That was it. But then I just changed my name to Gahsing. And then that stuck. Yeah,
Stuck.
yeah.
Bro,
Nice, nice.
bro, funny story that at the time I approached you for the session, then I told him like, bro, we're gonna do the DJ. Name is Gahsing.
Yeah.
Then Eugene told me, bro, I think that the Gahsing DJ he should be from Jalan Gahsing. How much you bet?
I mean, I had a thought of it, lah.
Yeah, lah.
Because if I say confirm he played Beyblade those days, that one is very cliche, kan?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what you said was, okay lah, I can say
Mm-mm.
you predicted the future day.
Yeah.
Yeah. We won the bet, lah.
So bro, how did you end up taking up? Okay,
Yeah.
So my origin story in a sense was I started off in the whole arts industry doing visuals. I used to do like animation visuals and like cutting up videos and making promos and shit and helping with like music videos sometimes for like friends who I just like found by going to as many underground shows as I could. Back then I was like this tall, skinny, lanky blonde dude with like hair down to here. So like I was a bit noticeable, especially because I was like this blonde Indian dude. I was like, what the fuck is that? So from there, I met a few performers, a few rappers, artists, and all, and I just started making like fucking videos of my friends and shit on my phone, and I just edited them and everything, and I post that on Instagram. It's very basic shit, and from there, I got to meet a lot of people in the music industry from there, in Hoax Vision, Safe House, and everything. And being around music, I've always loved music. I always wish that I could like make music. I just started, but making music was always like something that I admired, like the rapper, the DJ, the singer, whatever. So it was nice being around that environment. And about a couple of years into like doing this visual stuff for people, I was like in high school. I kind of was just like, okay, this is cool, but I really do want to like get more into the music side, like playing music, making music, whatever. So I literally just downloaded a virtual DJ, which is the same as Roshan. I just got
Virtual DJ.
fucking virtual DJ. And I had no idea what I was fucking doing. I was like pressing play on 2 songs at the same time. I didn't know what the fuck BPM meant or anything. I was like, press play. That doesn't sound right. And then I learned about the sync button, and I was like, yes, sync. Okay, now we're going somewhere. And from there, I kind of just slowly built on my understanding of DJing. It I had virtual DJ since about early 2019. I slowly just like figured it out like mid 2019, and then from there around late 2019 I started like, okay, I want to do more. Like this can't be it. I haven't figured out DJing. I'm not the best DJ ever. So what do I have to learn? So then it was just watching a bunch of different sets from all types of DJs, which was always something that I had appreciated before because I came from that whole background of like doing stuff with people in music. So the music side of it was always there for me. It was just, okay, how do I become like the best DJ I can, which I'm still doing now. And then the pandemic hit, and then I was like, well, fuck. Now what? So
Yeah.
I was just like, okay, nobody knows I've been doing this. We just start doing mixes, recording them, and putting them on SoundCloud. So I did that, and it went well. I just, whenever I could make like some fucking artwork, put a mix together, throw it up, and slowly people started recognizing, oh, he's a DJ. Like, especially because I think at that point no one had like really publicly like come out the gates as like a DJ, and I was already in a position where like people kind of knew who I was. So like my music friends were like reposting and everything. So I came out the gates as like this DJ, and I had somewhat of like a name to myself. And from there, it just progressed from like becoming like this bedroom DJ, trying to do live shows.
Yeah.
And in 2020, I started this collective with a group of my friends. It is defunct now, but it was called Playground KL. And with Playground, what it was just like this whole creative platform to like do shows, do live streams, do whatever. And once we did that, I was friends with like people who ran Safe House and everything. Because of that, I suddenly found myself in the position of, okay, so I'm technically a fucking promoter. I can just put myself on the lineup. So it was
Yeah.
sorted. So
Agree.
my first 2 gigs were my own fucking, like, I organized them, you know. So
Nice.
it worked, and people slowly started coming and showing appreciation, especially because we started with an online presence first, and then it became physical. So it came from that, and then towards the end of the year, things started dying down. I was off the uni and everything, and um, I guess my whole like personality as a DJ kind of just made that like essential change where I became like, okay, now I can really take this seriously, even though it's like still a pandemic. So then I started sending shit to Roshan and everything, and it got me here. I don't know why he fucking signed me, but not signed. I don't know why he brought me inside his ex, but he did, and now I'm here. It's been a fun journey, and honestly, for me, my journey is like really just starting to properly kick off now with live gigs again. My whole presence before this has been just online, so it's nice to finally get the full, consistent live experience again. So yeah, that's like my start to finish like story. Yeah, yeah,
Nice, man.
I think it's a blessing, bro.
Yeah.
yeah,
Likes and stuff, you know.
yeah, 100%. Like
Right.
Saturday selects like with Roshan, he taught me all the shit. Like I like before this, I would be playing like the most random ass fucking sets. Like they made no sense, and Roshan came in and like he was the first guy to like give me like a set of rules. Not rules, but like something to look towards, like something like a goal. Because before that, I was just trying to like find as many sick ass songs as I could find, and from there he was like, okay, so selection is nice, but this is how you curate them and all. And from there, it was just all these minor adjustments as you go on. And yeah, so it has been a blessing. And as well, obviously, exposure and everything is nice. But just being in that whole collective has been, I think it's a great opportunity for growth, honestly, at the most
It
part.
is.
Yeah.
It is.
So yeah,
Yeah.
it has been quite fun because I think like a lot of people as well kind of just like sit there thinking like I should be the fucking best DJ, like I'm better than all these guys, and they just gave me a fucking show, but like it's more than like you're just getting the show. Like you get the show, but like you also get all this amazing experience. It's like any other fucking job. You can't just go into the workforce and be the best. You get work experience and everything.
Yeah.
This is the same kind of thing, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Because
because it
when
takes.
you're a DJ, a lot of people have this perception that when they go to a club, they probably will thinking this guy is just coming with his laptop with 20
Yeah.
songs, and then he just
Yeah.
you know
Yeah.
so but there's a lot of process, bro.
Yeah.
Because like
There's a lot of
people like
effort,
us,
man.
we don't know because we're not in that
In the
Yeah.
line.
huh?
Yeah.
So but getting to know from your side a lot of things, you know, go and perform. Another one, performing in front of big crowd is another issue,
Big
because
crowd.
imagine if
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
a shy
Yeah.
person, then
Yeah, man.
Yeah, 100%. Like my first time performing in front of a crowd that was because before it was all like 40, 50 people, like small venues. My first time performing in front of a crowd that was a bit more than that, I think it was like 80 people. It was I took it as like a test of can I really like read the crowd? Because that was like the one thing that I learned. Like you can play whatever fucking music you like and it could sound fucking amazing at home on my headphones, but when I play it live, how is it gonna sound to these people and how are these people gonna receive it? So that one went well, and since then there hasn't really been another opportunity to test it out and see how it goes. But 100%, like with reading a crowd, I would say is one of the best traits of a DJ. I think a lot of people like one of the things I always get as someone who can DJ is, can you teach me to DJ? And I'm like, look, honestly, like you can learn how to make your own mix pretty fucking easily. Like it's not that difficult to do a mix. If you just want to do it for yourself. The one thing that I think really makes a good DJ is like firstly your mixing technique, your track selection, and how you play that to a crowd. Because if one your mixing technique is off and it's just the same thing, it gets boring and repetitive even for yourself. I would say as a DJ, you kind of just start doing the same thing to each song. And to track selection, every DJ I think wants to like I, the whole point of a DJ is you're meant to bring new sounds to people, like just sneak it in, just give them something new, or even instead of giving them something new, revive a sound that they haven't heard in a while. Like
Correct.
it's a silly example, but the other day I was at a show and Ready Rocket Jimmy was spinning and he played Pink Panthers, right?
yeah.
He
Yeah.
played Pink Panthers, and when that song first came out, I was like, "Ooh, this is cool. This is like actually like electronic music, but in this pop setting." And then I got bored of it, and then he played it live again, and I was listening to it there like live with all my friends. We were all singing lyrics. And I came home and like you really feel the effect of like reviving that sound. I came home and like for 2 days, all I listened to was that fucking song because it just brings it back. And it's the same thing with new sounds. You introduce a group of people to say they're used to playing house. You slowly bring in like a bit of like techno. Maybe they like it, they don't. Who knows? But if you can introduce it to them and if you read the crowd right, which is where reading the crowd comes in, they go home, they maybe really enjoy techno. They look for more techno themselves, and then they're more interested to hear you play a full techno set if that's what you're into as a DJ. So it's quite a challenge, I would say, track selection, especially with new tracks, because um, not to say it's like competitive, but I don't want to play the exact same tracks that another DJ is playing. Like, what happens if one day I come up to a set and I only have like 20 house tracks and the DJ before me just played like nine of them, you know? So having that unique selection and building that sound, I think it just adds to the whole aspect of being a DJ, and the personality and everything. And just introducing new sounds whenever you can. Yeah.
But I think it is important lah, because example, okay, let's maybe 2021. Let's say this pandemic never happened. So everybody in the club, in the pub, they'd be, hey, all be raving to the song and all that.
Yeah.
So we playing all this the 2021 songs. Then tiba-tiba you bring up songs like back in the 2000s
Yeah.
or 2003. That's like it's like you're going back through time. So it's
Yeah.
like what you say, bro. Like people who are new to it, they'll be like, wow, this is I never heard this song before. Some will be
Yeah.
like, oh my god, yeah, I remember this song. It brings back memories to them.
Yeah.
These are the stuff that
100%.
is going to help them psychologically, like, because brings them happiness. Emotionally they'll be awesome, like, that night.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
It was like the other day I was with a few other DJ friends, older guys, like OG dudes, and we were just talking about all the different club scenes around the world because like everywhere else like clubs are like back, UK festivals, US. And we're just talking
yeah,
about all the different club scenes. And I can't remember where, but someone mentioned like the club scene there is a bit so because like you hear the DJs play the tracks and you just wonder like where's the storytelling in it because it's something weird. I think even I was like thinking about like storytelling. You know? How do you tell a story with a mix? And so for the past couple of months, I was just like, so how do you tell a story with a mix? And you slowly come to like pick up on all these little tracks and how you build a groove and all these different little factors that just build to like a set really like creating all different types of emotions and stuff for people because really I think the best DJ not only knows how to read a room, but then once he reads it, can control it. He is the man playing the music. He is when you walk into the club, the first thing you hear is the music.
yeah.
When you hear that, it just if he can take control of you and if he can make your body move to whatever is playing, then he's definitely a good DJ because he's
Yeah.
just set the tone for the whole night. He can make you fucking sad. He can
He
make you
can make you
happy.
happy.
He can make you
Yeah. He can make you
nostalgic.
depressed. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Everything, like,
Obviously, I'm not trying to make anyone sad. No, I'm
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm
The
not.
vibe, like the vibe,
Yeah, but he can
Yeah.
control the vibe. He can make you feel nostalgic. He can make you feel like really fucking happy. He can make you feel like a boss.
Yeah.
Anything. Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. So it's an interesting idea, I think, in itself. Like just the idea of how do you tell a story through a mix? How do you? I think how I would put it right now at my point in my career is how do you transport someone through your mix? How do you bring someone through your whole set without ever losing them? Just bring them through, show them the way through the whole thing with your mix, with your track selections and everything. Yeah.
So like,
Yeah.
what's your type of genre of
yeah.
jungle
So
or house or
Soul?
I'm
wait,
more
bro? Do you
towards
tell soul, bro?
sorry.
Soul?
Soul music?
Soul music a bit, yes, but I've mainly always stuck to electronic music. I always
Electronic
grew
music.
up around electronic music. My dad listened to both electronic and hip hop. I grew up
Oh,
around both. And
nice.
moving on as I got older, I always just got more and more attracted to electronic, especially in KL because it was something I never hear. Like I've never gone to a club and walked in and heard like fucking drum and bass or jungle playing. You don't hear that here. So for me, electronic music and I do mainly house, garage, UK garage, a lot of UK stuff. And when I can, I will play jungle, but that there isn't really a mix. But in my heart, like deep in my heart, there's like a special little place for jungle. But house and garage are to me one of the funnest things to play because you really with house it's like a feeling you can really just move the house, and with garage it's just got a bit more of that step to it. It's the stuff I've always enjoyed, and it's the stuff that has such rich culture. It's a lot more interesting to me, especially because I always knew where hip hop came from. I grew up watching like fucking documentaries and everything. I always watch all the interviews, but with house and garage, it had. I think it's funny. Hip hop has always had like the bad boy rap, but like to me at least, I think electronic music raves and everything was some of the hardest fucking shows out there. Like you think about like 90s raves, like in the UK, like you literally just get texted like the address, and like you just see like a bunch of people like parked on the side of the highway walking into a field in the middle of nowhere, and just like five guys bringing like a bunch of subwoofers and just put it down, connect your fucking DJ set, and go all out. You know, completely fucking legal, but by all means, just go and play your music wherever. And I always found that so appealing. The freedom of it, I think, was very. It drew me to that whole area of electronic music as a whole. So yeah, but hip hop and soul, I I was 15, 16. I listened to all the fucking Travis Scott and everything. So yeah, I do I do enjoy playing that stuff sometimes too.
This bro, the first time when when you're doing your gigs and all that, right? I mean, okay, not first time lah. When you're doing your gigs before this and all that, how do you know that you are ready? That you know that people will enjoy your music, people will go hype for you.
So it's funny because my first ever gigs were really small,
Okay.
and what I would do was, and to get the gig as well, because I think this is like one of the best ways, like for a lot of DJs, if they want a gig, if you can bring like all of your fucking friends, like I'm sure most people know more than 20 people. If you can bring like 20 plus people like to come and listen to you, you're set. And since I have 20 people with me, 20 people dancing around me is quite a number of people.
Yeah.
And if I can figure out, because they're all people I know, if I can figure out what they like, I was like, okay, I know what to play. But moving on from that, now as well, like play a lot of shows where you don't really know what to expect. I think it depends on the venue of the gig. For one, I think that's one of the most important things. Who's going to be there? Because when you know your venue, you kind of know your demographic, and based on your
Yeah.
demographic, you just try to figure it out. And you bring, most DJs will bring like all their tracks with them. Bring as many tracks as you can, and kind of just be ready for anything. I think a DJ has to be adaptable. So, you could end up like wanting to do like a chill disco set, but then everybody is like really moving. So then you can bring it up the house. You start bringing it up to about 120 BPM. And it works like that in, I think, most settings, but it's always just about reading the crowd and seeing what they're feeling just by watching them. I remember when when I first started DJing, I used to go watch a good friend of mine, Alfie Rari, spin, and he used to spin on Thursday nights in at Mama Sina, and it was a very on Thursdays it was fucking quiet. It was just like it was right next to a bank. It was like Hong Leong Bank, so all the bankers would come down and just chill and have a drink. And every night I come and I just stand there and I'd watch him, and it was like a school night for me. I was in high school, and I'd be watching there like 10 to 12, and I just see what he's doing. And every now and then he'd be like, "Can you just go and see if people are dancing?" Whenever he'd switch it up just a bit, can you just check if people are dancing? And I'm like, okay. And then like from there, it's the same thing. You kind of just see how people are moving, how people are grooving, read the crowd, feel it out with the tracks, and you eventually it starts to come naturally, I would say. Yeah, it eventually does just kind of come naturally. You know how to, you can feel the energy in a room, I would say.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
I
Like
think you
slowly.
gotta also believe,
Yeah,
because I
100%.
think because in no matter what you do, people will still talk about you. How
Yeah,
bring you
that one
down?
is, yeah, correct.
Yeah,
And
100%.
yeah, and speaking, yeah, like what Reggie said, speaking about bringing down, like I'm sure like people have said some bad shit, right? Like, hey man, what are you doing? Like, you think you just mix this, do that, mix music, you can, what kind of life is that? Like, have you like gotten this kind of remarks?
Personally, not really. I've been lucky enough to not really have to go through
Oh,
it,
okay.
but I have heard the stories of DJs who have gone
Oh,
through this
okay.
kind of thing. I think I'm quite lucky because I've come in at the time where I think there's like, not to say I'm like the only one, but there's like a shortage of like really really new DJs. Like I'm whenever like I'm trying to think of like a lineup for anything we're ever doing, I'm always like, who is the new DJ? And up until the past couple months, before that, I was always the only one I could think of, like myself. I'm sure there are other DJs out there, and so everyone was always quite ready to help me whenever I did a set. I remember my first set, I fucked up so many times. My friend had to come in and fucking every
Well,
transition, he'd have to
mm,
like, oh, you forgot to do that, you forgot to do that, you forgot to do that, you know. And so I was lucky enough that it kind of just went on for me. But for anyone who does go through that, I would say there are people who make bad remarks. I think I'm sure there are tons of people who have talked shit about my music behind my back, and a bunch of my friends are also producers and whatnot. So I'm sure there are people talking shit about them. I know there are people talking shit about their music, and one thing we always say is it's very bombastic of us, but it's like, fuck it, we're superstars. You know, in the end, I think self confidence is one of the best
yeah,
things you can have.
correct.
But if it really does get to you, I think one thing you can look at is, well, if they didn't like my set, what did they not like about it, and what can I do to maybe change their minds the next time if they ever come to hear me? Because I'm there to somewhat please the crowd. I'm not a people pleaser for as a DJ, but I am there to make sure everyone has a good time. So I think self confidence is definitely key. Having self confidence is such a major role. I've always like walked around like I'm gonna be like a fucking superstar DJ. I know I'm not gonna be like if it does happen, it's not anytime soon. But but um, it's just my personal mentality to have, like, just so I know, like, okay, you're doing all right. You're not like completely fucking this shit up. There are always people who really enjoy your music. So
Yeah,
I think just remembering that is always key. And if you do want to look at within yourself, just figure out what it is you could do to improve. Maybe they didn't like that just one track. Maybe they thought your transitions could be a bit more interesting, and it pushes you to grow. You could become a better DJ at the end of it. I think I can't think of anything off the top of my head, but just hearing people tell me like, "Oh, you could have done this." Once I figure out how to do whatever technique they've recommended, I come out of it like, "Wow, this changes everything." So it's always good to, I say, just take everything on the chin, but always remember that you are you're doing fine. You'll be all right. Even if like five people talk shit about you, I'm sure there's 20 people who loved your set. So yeah,
true. I mean,
That's true, bro.
that's very true. Yeah, you never just that. The thing is, we will never know, lah.
Mhm.
Unless if they come up to you, hey, this guy said things about that and all that. But
Yeah.
it is true. We don't know who's out there loving what we do or who's out there talking shit about us.
Mhm.
In the end, we just got to keep on doing what we love, lah. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%.
Because if you're happy with what you do is imagine like working in a place with
Yeah,
Yeah.
man, that
Exactly.
working in a
sucks.
place where you love to work like that,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah. And
Correct.
I would.
Your energy will be different.
Yeah.
You know,
a hundred
the
percent.
place where you're working, but you don't like the place, so your energy is like, nah, you're just faking it.
Yeah.
But when you're in a place where you actually love your stuff, you love everything, man, you're gonna be lively. So people
Yeah.
come in, so they see your face, wait, they also get lively. You know,
Exactly.
yeah,
Energy is transmissible. It just goes around.
correct.
If you're playing, like, if that's why not to say I'm choosy. I'll play anywhere, honestly, more or less. I even considered, like, the other day, my friend and I were talking about like the resurgence of Bhangra music as of late. And we're like, fuck it, let's go play like Bhangra in like one of those Indian Talawi clubs or something. you know?
Bro,
But
if you ever perform in well, some better callers, bro.
Call us, bro. Hey.
yeah. And it's funny because, like, I will play anywhere, but I get there are people who are a bit more selective, and I think that's somewhat fine. Obviously there's gonna be times where you're gonna just have to brave it out because there are going to be like some gigs where it's like you're not going to get to play exactly what you wanted, but such is life. Sometimes you you have to work somewhere you don't want to work. Such is life. But in the end, slowly, you as a DJ at least, you will come to the point where you can start playing more of the stuff you like. And I think as a DJ as well, if you have that level of respect, I'm not at that stage yet, but if you have that level of respect, people will still come to see you regardless of what you play. I, if I think it would be insane. I don't know which DJ could accomplish this, but if a DJ started playing fucking house in six, like of all places six, right? Like love six, love going there. It's always fun. But if someone started playing fucking house in six, that would be insane. I think having that balance, slowly trying to bring everything together. But obviously, hip hop clubs exist, house clubs exist. You have your options. So I think as a DJ, knowing what you want is definitely important. But there are going to be times where you're going to just have to break it out and just, play fucking Goosebumps by Travis Scott or something, Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, once in a while we must have that new stuff and the old stuff, like
Yeah.
If you only stick to one thing, like, it's gonna be boring, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
you
Like
must mix it up.
if I just played jungle for the next 3 years, I would get bored of it in
Yeah,
a month. Like in one
yeah,
month's time, I'd be like, "Fuck this! I
yeah,
am gonna play Goosebumps and Mubamba." Like I'm
yeah.
gonna do the complete opposite of what I'm doing now. So
but it's
yeah,
also nice to jungle different types of genre to listen
yeah,
in, because like you see in UK it's different. UK is like here like this club is jungle, this club is pop, this club is
yeah,
head. Scene is different there. And also another part is in the European side, music scene and concert wise is booming there. And it comes to here, I mean yes, due to some issues that happened a few years ago, and now we have all the gigs and then COVID came.
mm,
Mm.
Now it's like starting from A again, no? But you gotta
yeah,
go up again.
yeah. But I think so. That issue, I'm assuming you're referencing the FMF thing,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So ever since then, like you know, 20 odd years ago, we were like the best place to go clubbing in the whole Southeast Asia. Like Malaysia was the shit. We had like some of the best DJs around. We had some of the coolest clubs that would open like all fucking night. Way
Yeah,
before my time, but reading about it makes me jealous of my
yeah,
dad even in the 90s, right?
yeah.
So it's interesting because our country specifically has always been a bit strict on these kind of things, and I think ever since I think EDM is the only one that kind of lived on. Besides that, because you have Zoom, I think besides that, ever since FMF and everything, which was like the nail in the coffin, there were still issues before. That was kind of it for like any kind of music that really pushed it out there. It can still work in another country like UK, but in KL it's still tough to bring back. I mean, a lot of my friends are very heavily focused on only playing rave music, jungle, hardcore 140, and the whole likes um, right now, and they're slowly trying to bring it back. And then we also have a lot of people trying to play house more and slowly introduce house back to KL. And whilst the pandemic is a reset, it's interesting because I think for one, a lot of people have really explored music a lot more during the pandemic, but
Yeah,
I you
right.
really don't know. It's like we're still getting used to it as DJs now because it's like brand spanking new. It's like what do the people want to hear? Like one thing that like everyone knows is like yeah, someone's gonna have to play. This is TikTok music. Like, everyone wants to hear TikTok songs, right? Because right? Like it's clear as day. Like
Yeah.
look, I don't hate TikTok. I have TikTok. I spend hours on TikTok sometimes. But you know, like I'm not trying to go to the club to play TikTok music, but
Yeah,
if it is, so be it. But it's a huge reset, and right now I think we as DJs just want to see what we can do with it. See if we can. Now we have almost a clean-ish slate to kind of build anew again. I think I definitely do because I am very much like starting out right now, like to build this whole idea of electronic music to people, and I think a lot of the older guys are trying to do the same thing as well. But it it'll be interesting to see. I honestly have no idea what people are really expecting when the clubs open, especially like I don't know what people in six want to hear right now. I think places like Pisco have always been great for house. They have a great DJ setup and great sound system, which we love. And um, people who go to Pisco really do enjoy like the house and the disco that's played there. So it's places like that will somewhat forever be something like that. But places like Six are so much more. It's so much more vibrant. It's ever changing. In well, it has the potential to be. Um, Back then, you go to Six, you hear the same song every night. I'm really curious to see what is played now. Will it be Pink Pantheress, which is essentially jungle and garage? Will it be um, all the drill hits coming out of UK and Pop Smoke, which we never really got to hear in the club because
Yeah,
Pop Smoke blew up during MCO. So
correct.
will it be that? Is, will it just be the same hip hop as before? And this goes on and on and on. And I think it's the same even with places like there's quite a few good bars like Disco Concubine and all. Will it just be the same house, or we slowly start to bring in, a bit more up tempo stuff, slowly make it a bit more diverse, go from house, garage, maybe techno even. Who knows? I think it's a very new landscape right now to play with. So yeah, but even then, um, like I'm not 100% confident that Malaysian people have been listening to electronic music, which yeah, it's fine. I'm not here like you have to listen to fucking electronic music. But even with Saturday Selects, it's
Mm.
Malaysian based. It's a Malaysian thing. It's a bunch of Malaysian DJs. There are DJs from overseas a lot of the time, but a bunch of Malaysian DJs. Malaysian DJs hosted. I think like what Roshan said it was like 3-4% of the listeners come from Malaysia. Only.
Oh damn.
The rest are all overseas. Some obscure tiny
Oh,
number like that.
three,
So
4%.
yeah, and there are good streams, but it's not really coming from here. So it's crazy to see that you know, I guess Malaysia hasn't really caught on to it just yet, but I think they are. I think slowly but surely, electronic music as a whole will just open up more in people's eyes. I think as much as some people hate to hear it, DJ especially Pink Pantheress, I personally love it. Like I think it's fun because I love all types of music, pop, hip hop, everything. I love listening to all types of music. And when I hear pop UK garage, I honestly don't really mind because back in the 90s, UK garage was pop. It was the soul, the pop that was played in the clubs. So it's interesting to see if that kind of thing will spark something new because even now a lot of local producers are trying to just stray away because I think as well just music in itself has gotten a lot more creative over the past few years. All the producers, all your favorite producers, rappers are all just at home and they're just talking to as many new people as they can because maybe they're bored like working with that producer and talking to the same fucking fella every day. So try something new, try this, let's try that. I just heard this song. Why don't we do something like that? And I think just from Malaysian music alone, slowly that will start to change. And hopefully with that, the idea of electronic music being played in clubs will become more of a norm. I think people like Cyrus likes, like Ocean, people like Fono, they all play a very vital role in ensuring that steadily keeps going. We can't just pull up to a set right now and play jungle.
Yeah.
But if I can sneak in like a quick like fucking 160 jungle grime track or something in between like a normal hip hop set and they're still rapping and people like it,
Yeah.
that's a win, you know?
Yeah. And
Uh,
some people enjoy it, you know.
exactly, yeah. And they don't even know what they're listening to.
Yeah.
Like, that, that-
Maybe, yeah.
again, that show I went to on Saturday,
Correct.
he played a bunch of like UK hits, and I was there like, fuck, this is so cool. And everyone else was dancing. And
Yeah.
I just realized, I just looked around and I realized they have no idea that they're dancing to UK garage or jungle. But they were. But it's still a matter of, you have to sneak it in
Yeah.
and you have to read the crowd and you have to see if they're going to feel that groove or not. And
Correct.
I
Correct.
think slowly but surely they will.
Yeah. I mean, in a way, you're also testing the water, like, to see, like, like, hey, which vibe works for people.
Yeah,
You have to test, right? Sometimes, yeah.
yeah.
But,
You really need to figure out what people want right now. I think that's
yeah.
like the biggest challenge of the DJ
Yeah.
as
Correct.
of right now. It's a new thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Correct.
yeah. But now as well, with I think one of the interesting things with DJing is because it's a new landscape.
Yeah.
We live in the 21st century. There's
Yeah.
so many new things, so many new issues that have arisen, and I think it's funny because I've just been thinking about this past week because I'm trying to talk to a few promoters that maybe implement this, but the idea of making clubs as well safer for people now because I think for one, obviously women, the club is like the least safe place for a woman. Like I, it sucks, but I have to like accompany like a female friend, like to and from so and so like fucking 10 meters. Like they might not be safe in that 10 meter walk to the bar. You have no idea what could happen, and it's that, and it's you know we live in Malaysia. We're diverse, but we're so diverse that we can't have a jury system because everyone looks at Indian film. Yeah, yeah, of course he did it. Look at China. Yeah, of course he scammed that money. He's cheap. Da, 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 da. All the fucking classic stereotypes. I'm not trying to. It's like, but you know what I mean. That's
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
it's meant as an Indian film. It's a mentality my father passed on to me. And da, 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 da.
Yeah.
That's a
It's
never
like that.
ending story, bro. That's
Yeah.
never ending story.
That
And
one's a different topic,
yeah,
It's another
and
story. Yeah.
so now I think the one thing that I see a lot in UK especially is trying to do as much as we can as DJs, as promoters, as an artist, whatever, to not even just speak up about it, but there are all these little things that you can do to take action. I noticed once stuff started opening up in UK, almost every festival, every collective that did a show had a safer dance floor um, sort of set of guidelines, sort of rules, right? And it was basically it was very strict and it was very laid out to the point where it's like, if you experience any form of homophobia, slurs, or anything, find someone in the high vis jacket and tell him, and that person will be asked to calm down or leave or remanded, whatever. And I think now again with a reset, these are all I think things that people should start to look to. I think they're very effective maybe, but to have them at least is the first step. I think um, people have done it before in KL, but having that is just one step towards making people feel more safer, and that just allows, as a DJ alone, that just allows me to make sure that people are having a good time dancing because that's all I want. And if that's what you want as a DJ, which pretty much every DJ wants, I think it's quite a good step to take. And as well with that, ensuring diversity within your lineups as well. I think that just makes people feel a lot safer. I am like this as I am an Indian dude sitting before you, but pretty much every one of my friends who makes music is Malay. Nothing wrong with that. But it's nice to have some diversity in your lineups where people can come and feel safe because they know, okay, there's an Indian dude right there spinning. I can also come and like vibe out with the Indian dude. Like other Indian dudes, and if you have a Chinese person spinning, Chinese people can come and vibe out with another Chinese DJ. And and just on top of that, just making sure that people have access to things,
Yeah.
because another interesting thing I read about was diversity clauses that a lot of promoters are implementing in their shows or clubs even in the UK, where because in the UK the statistics, which I can't remember off the top of my head, are mental. Like the ratio of like white DJs to like POC background DJs is insane. It's like fucking, I don't know, 100 to 1. For every 100 white dudes spinning, there's like one person of color spinning. So these small little things, I think, in this whole reset of the party scene would, I think now is quite a vital time to implement them because, like I said, it is a reset. So what better time than now to kind of just bring in all these new ideas and get people used to it? Because there's no point kind of just saying, people will be people.
Mm.
Like,
Yeah.
you don't go around and just say,
Exactly.
oh, he murdered someone. No, murders will be murders. you know
Yeah.
so all these little things I think are quite essential in the reset. Diversity clauses are great because what they do is, um, essentially a club has to, it's a bit diversity hierarchy, but a club has to fill a quota of people of color, um, DJs, for example. So if you have like a festival of if you have a festival and you have, let's say, 10 DJs, for every, let's say, like for every white DJ you have a person of color DJ. So it brings in more opportunities for all these people who want to get into the scene, but they're worried because they come from a different background, and they don't feel safe. Some of them maybe don't even feel safe themselves. Like if you're a woman DJ, you're going to a place where, like, it is fairly dangerous and you have to work there. Like, that's, at the core of it, you're unsafe in your own workplace, because that is your office, your DJ, that dance floor, that is,
Like
those
a
are your
second home.
customers.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think all these things are key in just making sure that moving forward, the whole party scene in KL can just be a lot more safer, inclusive, and just, you know when shit is safe and inclusive, everyone has a good time. And that's the whole point of a DJ. So, yeah. Yeah.
I mean, these all facts, lah. Whatever
Yeah.
you just shared. It is true, man. Because being a DJ, yeah, it's not just about mixing or songs or different beats. It's more to that. So
Yeah.
yeah, lah,
The
it's
one
very
is
true.
also the perception of the mind.
Correct.
Can't be because like comes to the music scene, club scene. If you're not interested in it, you can't go to it. You
Yeah.
can't be forced to go into it just because of I want to go and listen. They
Yeah.
should when they go there they should feel happy
Feel
and
it, yeah.
stuff.
Yeah. Feel accepted, feel
Correct.
welcome, because this music is for everyone. I
Exactly.
it I'm not here playing music to just like the you know the deep people. I'm not here trying to play music to one demographic. Music is for everyone. It's one of those things in life. Just all art, like, I've always had like the mindset, art should somewhat be free. It's obviously not free. Better pay entry so I get paid. But you you art is something that everyone should, freely be able to both express and
Yeah,
feel and enjoy and experience.
exactly.
Because, if not, what's the point of us doing it? I'm here to share this music with everyone, and I
Yeah.
want you guys to be able to enjoy it however you like.
Yeah.
So please be able to do so without, I don't want people to come and have to worry about feeling judged. I have to worry
Yeah.
about, you know any forms of danger on the dance floor. I don't want people to have to worry about that if they're
Correct.
coming to see me play. I feel bad
Correct.
sometimes because I'll tell like some of my girlfriends, like, come to the set. I don't know. That place is a bit sketch from the last time I went there. And I'm like, wow, fuck.
Yeah.
that's like it's disappointing,
Mm.
like that it's that dangerous for you to come just to experience music. Like you just had
Yeah.
to dance, have a good time. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, as a DJ also, yeah, you also have the power to like stop. Example, if someone is trying to do something like harassing or sexual, you know, kind of stuff.
yeah,
I mean, you can see because you basically you'll be on the stage, but you
yeah.
on the
I can
top. You
see
can see
anything.
anything. You can
Yeah,
see, oh, the bugger is trying to like take picture or anything. So you have
yeah,
that power, in a way,
yeah, exactly. Like
to
I
stop.
said before, just the DJ controls the room.
Correct.
I'm already up here, like I can I can see
Yeah.
everything, right?
Correct. Correct.
I can tell the bouncer
Yeah. Hey,
something
ni
going
kasih
on.
keluar.
Yeah, I
Exactly.
like. Hopefully, what I don't know if I can do that yet. Like, I don't think bouncers like would like me that much. You'd be like,
Yeah.
who the fuck do you think you are? Like,
That's why. The fella will be thinking, apalah budak ni dia
yeah,
main music aja,
kau buat kerja kau ah.
kejap lah.
I
Ah,
think I think the another part of it is like I think gonna might trigger some of the people, but I think you can enjoy music without popping pills or anything.
Yeah, you can.
Because music is something nice.
Yeah,
yeah,
Because once
I
you're in that state, you don't know what you're doing, man.
yeah,
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 And when you overdose, it's even worse.
yeah,
yeah.
Because
You're
you'll
gonna
be
get
haywire here and there.
yeah, and then you're gonna be dependent on it. For what?
yeah,
You know.
yeah. Drugs
I
is
mean,
it's a very weird topic, especially
yeah,
in the music industry. I mean, like if you think of a rave, like you think of like a bunch of dudes just like popping here, just fucking and like I get it. Like I get why you want to do that. Um, and I'm not here to say don't do drugs, kids, but like
Yeah.
it's still it's a taboo subject, and I think it plays a big role in why the government cracks down so hard on clubs. Of all things, like they know like that's like the one place where all the kids are doing my fucking coke. Go and get them. Haram gila, Abi. So it's that whole topic, and it's like, okay, how can we mitigate that? How can we make people feel safe? And that is definitely one of the factors that falls into it. So yeah,
and also because of this, these people who are into this drug and all these addicts and all that, it's because of them. When you want to open, like let's say, remember that big event happened in Bukit Jalil, that
MFA lah.
right?
oh
Music Festival Asia.
Yeah,
yeah,
and
yeah,
that was honestly it was a big thing,
yeah,
and at the same time it was sad because
yeah,
It was
quite a
literally
number
the
of us.
biggest thing, dude.
Yeah,
yeah,
it
yeah,
was
Like
one
State
of the
Mall
biggest thing.
5. Second day was State of Trance, dude.
yeah.
Imagine like Armin and everyone.
Armin can be
And
with
then
me.
like
I
Yeah,
mean,
look at
holy
our
shit,
scene. Like I mean look at now. If only that kind of things didn't
thing.
happen. I mean, I'm not
Yeah,
blaming the people who take this kind of stuff because somehow they got influenced by one of their friend or what.
yeah,
yeah.
I
It's
don't want to play the blaming game, but I think it's like what I said. There's so many other ways to enjoy music.
yeah, yeah, a
Just
hundred
yeah,
enjoy it
percent.
while you're
And
sober or what.
yeah, I
yeah.
think with drugs, it's how do I say this? With drugs, it's I guess time and place for one, maybe time and place. There's a time and place for everything, and I think you have to take it upon that responsibility. I think clubs I think just the idea of being stricter in clubs, like I won't lie, I went clubbing when I was like the first time I went clubbing I was 14, 15. Like I was young. My ass was like 6 foot by the time I was 14, 15. So everyone looked at me and they were like,
Damn.
yeah. So I was
Oh
I was
shit.
a
All
tall
right.
ass motherfucker when I was 15. So they just let me in, right? And
Yeah.
look, I'm happy I got to go to the clubs. That was fun. I enjoyed my time there. But that it plays a big part because in places like UK, you can't get into a club if you're under 18. And because of that, the cops know they're not gonna go and bother those clubs either. They're just gonna, you know, they know that the only thing, if ever, that they're on the lookout for is drugs. Um, so and the whole underage thing, the whole drug thing, I think it clubs just have to take a bit more responsibility in ensuring that like there were clubs that we used to go to and everyone knew, everybody, even the cops knew. That's where like all the 16, 17-year-olds were going. It was like a club. It was not like some it was a club, right? And they knew that's where the 16, 17-year-olds were going. And because of that, it becomes so much easier, as a cop to, fuck around with these kids. Aku boleh ambil duit cari makan,
Yeah
right?
lah. Yeah lah.
So
Exactly.
it's that whole, discussion of like, how do we make clubs, like how do we make this more legal? Like how can I go to the club and not worry about like a fucking raid, because technically go to the club. If you're just going, you're having a drink, you're over 21 in this country, 18 elsewhere, having a drink and listening to music, you have done absolutely nothing wrong. You don't, the cops shouldn't even have to check you just by the basic, like, laws of it and just how your rights work as a human and just how your rights work in this country and how the cops operate. Technically, the cops shouldn't actually have to ask for like C or IC in the club unless there's serious reason to suspect. And
Right.
if you're just a normal dude going to the club, that's a very normal thing. It's not this insane idea, but in this country, unfortunately, it is because unfortunate events at FMF and because of the lack of regulation on clubs and the whole, haram. It is an Islamic country, which I respect, but there has to be some sort of line. It's almost even similar to, I think now, especially, it's making headlines like weed, like legalizing medical cannabis, right?
Yeah.
The whole idea of doing it in America was if we do it, like we know this shit isn't like killing people. No one's like, maybe there are, but no one's really like out here fucking ODing off weed, right? So they were like, okay, let's do it, and then crime rates will go down. We can regulate it. We can make sure people aren't getting like weed laced with whatever, and we're good. Whereas here, it's for some reason, well, for obvious reasons, they don't want to implement it. But if they did, they would realistically have a much better hold on it. And it's the same with clubs. If you can learn a way to regulate it more rather than just fucking going all out, dropping the hammer on them, it would probably become a much easier relationship between both us and the government and the cops and everything. It works the same way, even with there was one state in America that decriminalized all drugs. That's still illegal, but it's not a criminal offense. And when they did that, what they saw was they had more people going into rehab rather than going to jail. So
Yeah.
dealing was still a crime, but if you're consuming, they have more people just coming out and be like, "Yes, I'm a fucking addict. Please help me," right? Like, and they did, and they saw that their rate of like drug usage went down because more people were going into rehab and more people, uh, yeah, just more people going into rehab and entering society again. They were being shown how to enter society again, whereas if it's illegal, they throw you into the prison system, which is fucking shit, and you come out, and most likely you go back into the prison system. So it's just an endless loop, and your crime rates are up. And
Yeah.
it's the same thing when you learn how to regulate it. It becomes a lot more easier to control just from the government standpoint. And for us, like, fuck yeah, regulate it. I don't really mind because that is within your rights. We elect you to do these things. We elect you to regulate shit and create laws so everybody is safe. And so be it. If you're gonna be a bit stricter on clubs, if under 18-year-olds can't get in anymore, I might be saying this because I'm well above the age to get into a club now, but maybe when I was 16 I have a different perspective. But if they got stricter, if they got stricter, I'm more than happy because in the end, that's more or less the way it should be, right? You wait till you're 18, you go to the club, and everybody goes to the club, and it's fine. You just go. There's no guilt. There's nothing.
Yeah.
So it's a very interesting area, which I think that is somewhat beyond my grasp at the moment of shit to change. I can't go up to fucking I don't know, I can't go up to Syed Sadiq or whoever and be like, you should do this, but maybe Syed Sadiq is watching this. I don't know. Syed Sadiq, if
Yeah.
you're watching this,
Yeah.
YB, look at the treatment of clubs, because we're 2% of your economy, so do that.
Oh,
Yeah.
but it's true, lah, bro. It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like talking about clubs, and also like if we talk about liquor stores, the liquor
Mhm.
stores.
Mhm.
Okay, if they'll say, oh, you have to, they'll put the 18 and above. But who
Mm.
knows, the fellow might be 16.
I was 15, man.
Yeah, that fellow will go
Exactly.
by. Till they find
Yeah,
a padang, he will drink.
he'll drink.
So like
And
when the cop fellow, maybe he marked you when you're buying. Then when you're
Mm.
chilling down with your friends, the fellow will come there. You tell, hey, what are
Tahu.
you doing?
yeah,
I
Mm.
see. On
exactly.
lah.
Instead of that, what they should do is just, when you're buying it, to be like, no, you're under 18. Fuck off. Instead of letting you drink it and then
Yeah.
arresting you. What's the point?
Yeah. I
Like you
mean,
see,
it's
like you see in the US, I think like most of the, because I watched this gas station thing on the YouTube. So like underage people used to come and buy drinks. So the first thing this guy asks is, show me your ID. Like they should
Exactly.
implement the thing here. Like show me your ID.
Yeah.
If you're not below 18, sorry dude, I'm not gonna say.
Exactly.
I mean
Yeah.
somehow still you're gonna make money, man. You're not only depending on the younger ones.
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't know why, like, all these stores and everything, all these, some clubs really do depend on 16 years old, which they should change, honestly, quite frankly. They need to start reaching a legal demographic, because at that point, your entire, like, if you're a club, for example, if you're depending on like a bunch of 16-year-olds, your entire operation is just illegal. You know, for all I care, you're running a fucking cartel. That is not a legal business in any way whatsoever. What you're doing is straight up illegal. And I have mixed feelings about the law. I'm a law student, and I have mixed feelings about the law. There are laws that work, there are laws that don't work, but in the end, there are some things that you live with it. Wait, if you're gonna have a beer, like, in Germany, for example, like, I remember I went to Germany when I was about 17, 16, and we would drink, but we would drink at like our friends' houses. Like, I was like, so do y'all go clubbing? He was like, nah, dude, you can't get a club. I was like, dude, I have my fake passport here. Don't worry. Like, dude, they scan your ID with a fucking machine and everything. And if your
Oh.
ID is fake, they potong it.
Straight up, dude.
Oh
Uh,
shit.
it's the same thing they implement in like liquor stores as well. Like, if you're like
See?
if you're in Germany or UK, if you try to buy alcohol and you show them your ID, right, and it says you're underage, or if you're using a fake, they just cut it up.
You see
That's it. You're
this.
fucked.
You see this way is very effective. This way that the society wouldn't, like, for young generation, they won't be like lost. They won't be like gone wild.
I mean,
Yeah,
You
messing
know,
up their life.
messing up their life at a young age for what?
yeah,
Just like
All
going to
this.
a club for the music and but want to have one, two, it's okay lah. But
yeah,
you are going there doing something outside and then you're going inside the club. You know?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, exactly.
just because you want to show people that you're cool. You know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I think it's just the perception. I think this kind of things won't stop, bro. That's why
yeah,
it's
yeah,
a circle. It just keeps on going. So if you
yeah,
tell one kid, "Hey, dude, don't do that," that fellow will listen, and then another fellow will be doing the same.
yeah,
Never ending
exactly.
story, bro.
Yeah, it's a very strange. It's a bit upsetting. I I'm I went through all of that. I was a fucking asshole when I was 15, man. Like, going clubbing and shit and doing all types of stupid shit. I regret that like 1 2 years of my life. Like, I genuinely do. Like, if you ask me and my friends, like, yeah, Kim was a fucking dick when he was 16. I hated that guy. You know, I was always going clubbing. Like, it can wait, and there are alternatives. Like, I'm not saying, like, to all my friends who, any of my juniors or anything, like 16, 17, 18, dude, just drink at your house. If you really not gonna get hammered or anything, drink at home. Like, just
Correct.
lepak je. You don't have to go out. You don't have to do all this crazy shit. You
Correct.
know,
Correct.
get your brother to buy you fucking beers and drink with him, because he can take care of you at least.
Yeah.
It's a much better system. I'm not here like you cannot drink if you're under 18. Really, je. Like, have a couple. Like, but there should be some regulation just
There
so
should be. There should
everyone is
be.
good.
I think they balance their lifestyle studies
Yeah,
and also what they
yeah,
want to do
Yeah,
certain age. You
100%.
know.
Yeah,
balance lah.
100%.
You have to
Yeah.
balance, you know.
Yeah, balance is key, man. Like,
Yeah.
I'm still trying to figure out the balance between like fucking DJing and you. But it's it's a it's a key thing, and I think in life, like you're always gonna have to figure that out. I went to school. I went to an international school, so I went to school with a bunch of dudes who like their education did not matter. They have like their trust fund babies, so they got like millions waiting for them. Like by the time like their parents pass away or whatever, so that's fine. But not everyone's like that. So it's definitely a big thing to balance it out because in the end I love DJing. It's one of the biggest things in my life. But there are other things in life, and yeah, but in the end, really, if you really do want to like go to a show or anything, there are shows like there are some shows where you can go if you're like 50. They're really chill. They can get rowdy even, but they're not like it's not a club. You know, and that's the other cool thing about like um in Australia they have clubs for people who are underage, like
Oh.
legit clubs. They just serve like a Red Bull, like,
Oh,
but they have clubs like with a DJ and everything, which is an interesting concept. Like, I'm not saying like we have to implement that right now. I don't think I want to play to like a bunch of 16-year-olds personally.
Imagine spinning for 16-year-old.
Yeah,
I'm a Barbie girl. Yeah.
Bro, that's a sick track.
yeah.
It was. I mean, back in the days, it was like, I think that was like the bomb, man.
Yeah,
Right?
I,
Aqua.
I might drop that track soon. I might have
Yeah.
to play that one day.
Barbie
Like
girl, that's classic, bro.
classic.
Nothing like the classics. You gotta agree to that, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Exactly, man.
yeah,
Out
yeah.
of
2000s,
nowhere,
bro.
we had to.
That was
But
2000s, bro. You know.
yeah, the 2000s were a crazy time for electronic music, man. I mean, like, that's why again, like I said, back then, electronic music was like the forefront of everything, and it slowly
Yeah.
changed to trap, which I don't hate, but I'd love to see the resurgence of electronic music again. Like, way back, 90s, 2000s, all your pop was fucking electronic music. You had, fucking, what's that one? I've been listening to that song Better Off Alone, Alice DJ. Do you think you're bad? Dun, 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 dun,
Yeah.
dun. Yeah,
Yeah.
all those tracks, like they're fun, and they're like literally like they're all like techno tracks and shit. And I'm just it's like fuck, this is techno. I was like 18. I was like listening to it. I was like, oh wait, oh shit, oh oh, it's a techno song. What the fuck? my like 8-year-old ass wasn't thinking like, oh techno, wow, Yeah,
Good times, good times, good times. You know.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
man.
Just want to bring that back. Honestly, just not to say I'm just gonna play Barbie Girl and get off alone in the club like, if you come and see me, but if you come and see me play, viewers,
Yeah,
then
man.
yeah, you will get that feeling again. And I think that's the one thing I love about that kind of music, all those hits and all the new stuff, because there's so much new stuff. I think like every day there's like tons of new tracks getting released on SoundCloud, on YouTube. As a DJ, it's like my job to know all these things and keep up with it. And quite frankly, I can't like keep up with every fucking track from each genre I love coming out because there's so many. And like, I think like I could probably say every month there's at least like 5 brand new producers like putting out new tracks, and it's just constantly growing and growing and growing. It's just a matter of time until it becomes the norm. I think like as we know, like SoundCloud, like the emergence of the SoundCloud rapper and everything. I think it's just a matter of time before the emergence of the SoundCloud producer. I think that's always been there, but I think with SoundCloud producers, there's so many of them, and you
Mhm.
really are spoiled for choice. It's not even saturation, because with SoundCloud rappers, I felt like it was saturation. Saturation was like a bunch of dudes just rapping the beat type beats. They're all trap. It's the same thing. Whereas with producers, your producer it's such a key role you play as producer to really push boundaries. And I think a lot of producers right now are really making a lot of stuff that At first glance, maybe you think it sounds the same as another song, but really, you're just spoiled for choice because there's tons of things to explore on the internet when it comes to music, especially electronic. It never ends. Like with house, you could go on for fucking years and you still won't hit the bottom. That's like the one thing I always tell my friends. You'll never hit the bottom of like electronic music. It's just always gonna be there, and you're never going to know every. I'm There are probably a few people who know all the songs like hardcore, but
Yeah.
it's very difficult to really get through every fucking song that's coming out because they're constantly coming and they're all amazing. Like with
Correct.
electronic music, like I struggle to find like if I want to find jungle music, I cannot like tell you right now a bad jungle song. I can't give you a bad house song. I can tell you a few bad like trap songs maybe or something like that. I can't give you a bad house song. Like it's not even just because I love house that much. Like it's for one, it's kind of hard to fuck up, and
Mm-hmm.
and two, there's so many amazing producers out there who really understand what they're doing and where this music is coming from. They're really putting that into the music, which really is what holds electronic music together, which is that whole idea of this level of quality and this level of understanding of the culture and everything that came before it and what we can do to move it forward. I think it's a very interesting landscape, which I think very soon Malaysians will be very excited to be a part of themselves.
Yeah. But I really hope, like Gahsing, I really hope that when everything goes back to normal, when when people can do their shows and all that, and if you are there doing your gig, man, me and Richie is definitely gonna be there. Can't
Actually,
wait, man.
But definitely
I,
we'll be looking
Definitely.
forward to your set on the RTB thing.
Oh
oh,
yeah,
nice, nice,
yeah. RTB
nice.
That's for
exactly.
sure, man.
Yeah. RTB 23rd. Get live stream tickets on
Yeah.
Get your
Tapao
tickets.
Asia. Yeah, that
So,
shit's gonna be really fun. I'm very much looking forward to that more than anything
Is
else.
it yours a set or how does it?
So it's RTB is so there's five or six artists playing before me, all really great artists. Matjet, Danye, uh, Nobi, Aus, Laws from Four Spot Boys, all these really great rappers
Fuck
and
boys.
singers. Yeah,
Yeah. Spark
so
boy.
all these great artists playing really good music, and I know most of these guys in their tracks are like really pushing beyond. Like Mudjet has like some fucking garage tracks lined up, and ours has some great interesting trap that really incorporates like an electronic sound. So they're all doing really interesting stuff, and then I'm gonna be closing with a 1 hour set on the night. So yeah.
Was watching actually that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Make sure your neighbor doesn't call the police. Speakers gonna blast.
Yeah, RTV is gonna be fun, man. I'm looking forward to
Yeah.
it. You guys are watching are you guys coming? Are you guys
No,
watching
watching virtually, bro.
virtually? Oh yeah,
Because
you're
the traveling thing
yeah, true, true,
hopefully coming
true. Sweet.
months, maybe when things are open, right? And
Yeah,
come down, have another set. What? I'll
dude, I
Yeah.
definitely
want to
come
come
down.
up there. I want to come up to Penang and play.
Definitely, man. If you ever
Yeah.
come up to Penang, you know who to call, man.
Yeah.
Can. For sure, man.
And brother, before we wrap it up,
Mhm.
I got one question for you. What would you like to tell you the people who have supported you throughout this way?
Um, Shit, that's like on the spot. So first of all, shout out to City Boys, Dino, Afik Not Nice. We don't do anything. We only recently started doing like producing music together, but we never do music together. These are all my rap friends. Thank you for being there for me, like through like the worst time in my career. Because there were times where I was like uploading mixes and nobody gave a shit. They were like, "It's fine, your time will come." Like you only exist in the live realm. Like, and then it's funny because it was a thing where they like released like albums and shit this year, and they did well. And my mixes like it came to a point where it was like, okay, mix. What else? What new? What's new? And then once everything opened up, and then like within like a week, I got like a few gigs lined up. I'm like, what the fuck? And I was like, I win this time, you know. But shout out to them, to Roshan. thank you so much for putting me on Saturday Lights. I've only ever said this to you on your birthday, but you've opened up doors for me that I never knew could be open. I never thought I'd be here. I never thought I'd be playing alongside Roshan. I used to go see Roshan play when I was like fucking 18. So
Yeah.
thank you for putting me on Satisfacts. That was like a dream come. Being like Satisfacts doing the radio show alone was a dream come true. And all the people who have come to my shows and enjoyed my DJ sets, thank you so much. And there's so much more to come. Like we're just getting started. Yeah.
Thanks to you also, bro.
Yeah, bro.
Thank you guys
Thank
for
you.
having me, man. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
This has been great.
Pleasure, bro. It's a pleasure.
We should be thanking you, bro, for being
No,
here.
it's nice to
You know?
hear from your side. You know, it's nice.
Yeah.
Really, really. I mean, we also learn from thing stuff. You know, nice,
Yeah.
bro. Thanks for the knowledge as well.
Knowledge,
Thank
yeah.
you guys.
Because this is all real stuff, and it's really happening, and it's not knowledgeable stuff like what Reggie said. Like, we learn something every day. This
Yeah.
is one of it. Thank you, bro.
Thank you guys. This has been great. This has been
Yeah.
awesome. All right.
Good luck with your set,
Yeah.
RTP. So I'll link all his socials below later in the description. Go and follow him, tracks, thing. See you guys on the next episode. Okay?
Thank you.